Okay, so I really want you guys to pay attention during this video because I'm going to change the way you perceive fat loss, and then I'm going to give you the one thing that you need to actually shred the fat. I want you guys to understand something. I was once in the position that you're in right now. I know what it means to be a beginner. I know how frustrating and confusing it can be to navigate through all the information that's put on social media, that's put on YouTube, that's put in books. I understand. When I was first overweight and I was trying to lose the weight, there's so many different methods that I tried, and it became so discouraging because everything seems so complicated. My goal is to put the right information in front of your face. And when I say the right information, I mean the information that actually works for me. My thing is that I'm not going to put information in front of your face that didn't work for me or that I didn't do. I'm learning every single day, regardless of whether I lost fat, regardless of whether now I'm lean and muscular. I still have other goals and I'm still constantly learning. If you think you know everything, you're never going to learn anything. You're never going to move on to the next level. Okay? With that being said, I want to break this video down into two parts. The first part, I'm going to discuss things that I learned during my journey that ended up being complete nonsense so that you guys don't make the same mistake. And in the second part is going to be really short and sweet because I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do in order to actually lose fat and explain to you how it's not easy, but it's not complicated. It's not rocket science. Okay? So let's start off with the first part. There's three things in specific that I'm going to be covering in this video that I learned that ended up being complete nonsense. Number one, carbs and fats make you fat. Let's start off with carbs. People like to say that you should eat very low carb diets or that you should cut carbs out of your diet completely. That is complete nonsense. Now, are carbs correlated with higher calories? Yes. Will cutting them make it easier to hit your calorie deficit? Yes. But what you have to understand, carbs are vitally important for you. They give you that fuel. So if you cut out carbs completely, you're going to go to the gym and you're going to feel terrible. Okay? I've done it before. Literally the other day, I didn't have carbs in for breakfast and I hit an early workout and I felt sluggish. I didn't feel as strong as I normally was. But what's super important when it comes to carbs is the source of where you're getting your carbs. If you're getting your carbs from processed foods, of course it's going to be terrible for you. Of course you might still feel sluggish and terrible because that's not real carbs. You need to get your carbs from real foods, right? Natural whole foods. Now, let's move on to fats. Now, I know the word fat makes you think that it's going to get you fat. It's not. Now, again, your source of where you get your fats from. If you're getting them from your processed foods, it's obviously bad for you. But when I talk about fats, fats are very good for your brain. But animal fat, true animal fat. All right, we're going to move on to number two, which is you need to eliminate your favorite snacks in order to get shredded. I'm going to explain to you this concept. You can get shredded eating absolutely whatever you want if you meet one thing, which I will discuss later. Now, should you eat anything? Absolutely not. I know people that got shredded off of eating Pop Tarts, but is that healthy? One thing I want to tell you guys is that you can have an amazing physique, right? You can look great on the outside, but if you're slowly killing yourself on the inside, then is that really worth it to you? And if it is, then you have a problem. And you need to sit down and think about why your outside appearance matters so much to you. What's going on inside, you don't care about, right? That means you're probably seeking validation from the world. Now, I'm a big advocate of whole and nutrient dense foods. Again, foods that came from the ground or foods that came from an animal. But that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy some chips every once in a while, that I don't eat ice cream. Literally, like a week ago, I went like 3 weeks eating ice cream every weekend. Okay? I love eating ice cream. I love that stuff. Just because I'm fit and I'm healthy now doesn't mean that all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I don't like dessert. I don't like dessert. Keep that away from me. Obviously, there are times where you got to be strict and you got to be like, hey, I can't have that right now, you know? And you can't be having it reoccurringly throughout the week. But it's the weekend. You work hard. Again, you meet that one thing, which I'm going to discuss later. You can have your dessert in moderation. Learn what one serving is and not the whole container. I saw this TikTok video the other day where the guy was talking about eating Oreos and how instead of eating the whole container, you learn to eat one serving, which is 3 Oreos, right? You're still having Oreos. You might not be having as much as you want, but learn how to control yourself. What I like to do is 90% of what I eat will be whole foods. And then 10% can be whatever I want, right? I like to eat some Chex Mix sometimes. I like to have some ice cream. I like to have some Tostito chips. Now, is there certain things that I really, really won't eat? Yes. Why? Because they are ultra processed and they have things that will literally last in your system for 7 years. So that's mainly things that contain like super high fructose corn syrup or red 40. Like the other day, my dad brought Doritos. I do not touch those. But the Tostitos that he brought, I'll touch those, right? Because those are made with corn. Anyways, moving on to number 3 is doing hours of cardio is going to shred fat. So I had somebody in the comment on my video the other day talking about like, oh, well, like it does shred fat, this, that, and the third. Yes, okay? Don't take it so literally. Understand the bigger picture behind it. Okay, number 1, you can do hours of cardio if you want. From my understanding, the majority of people don't want to go to the gym, do 45 minutes to an hour of cardio, and follow that up with an hour of weightlifting. Nobody wants to do that, right? I don't care how many motivational people you see out here. Oh, I'm going on the Stairmaster for 45 minutes. They post a video of them sweating. A lot of them don't want to do it, right? A lot of them don't want to. Now, is there an exception to the rule? Of course. Of course, there are people that genuinely like it, that genuinely do it because they love doing it. There are also some people that train for certain things that do that amount of cardio because they need it. But for the majority of people lifting weights that want to get shredded, that have full time jobs and don't have the time to be in the gym for 2 hours, right? An hour doing cardio and then an hour doing weightlifting. People don't like to be on the cardio machine for that long. My second point about cardio, after doing it for a certain period of time, your body becomes adjusted to it and it becomes less effective, right? So if you're somebody who has like 30, 50 plus pounds to lose, over time, your little strategy is going to become less effective and then you're going to crash. Why? Because if you don't have another system in place, right? You stop doing your cardio because you realize it's not working as much. And then your diet is terrible. So you're going to start gaining weight again, right? That's why from the start, you have to set yourself up for success. And the best way to do that is to make it as easy as possible for yourself, right? So that's why we play the long game instead of the short game. People who go on the cardio machine and do like hours of cardio is because they want results like that, right? But people who understand that switch their mindset to the long term and prioritize their strength training. Why? Because over time, as you build muscle, that's going to increase your metabolism and that's going to allow you to burn more calories at rest. Your basal metabolic rate is going to increase as you build more muscle. Now, I also had another comment talking about, oh, well, you need to do cardiovascular system. Did I say cut out cardio completely? Absolutely not. Cardio is good for you. It's good for your health and it will most definitely help you with your calorie deficit and help you shred fat. But have a balance and understand your priority needs to lie in your strength training. Don't overdo it because you want results faster. Enjoy the process. Stop thinking about the results. What I like to do is I'll keep my cardio 15, 20 minutes max. Now, for what you all been waiting for, the one thing that you need to lose fat is to be in and maintain a slight calorie deficit. And a lot of people are probably going to click off the video right now because they're going to get so mad that that was like the big secret, but that's what it is. Stop making it so complicated. Find your maintenance calories, subtract 2 to 500 calories. Those are your new calories. Eat at those calories every single day consistently, and you will lose fat. Now, to make it easier, 90% of your diet again should be whole foods because it's hard to overeat on whole foods. That red meat that they tell you not to eat a lot of it. I promise you won't overeat on it because you're going to get full super quickly. Notice how I didn't say go on a drastic calorie deficit. I said a slight calorie deficit. We're playing the long game. We want to be able to sustain our results for the rest of our lives, not for the short term. And one thing I want to explain to you about my people who probably don't know how to find their maintenance. There are calculators out there, but there's a certain multiplier that they use for your activity level, and you might not know how to calculate that correctly. So I suggest you get a rough estimate, right? Whether you're lightly active, moderately active, get a rough estimate of your maintenance calories. Now, in order to test it, I want you to eat at those maintenance calories for 2 to 4 weeks and track your weight every couple days. If your weight stays stable, then those are your maintenance calories. And then you can proceed to deduct some calories to enter your calorie deficit. Now, if you gain weight, that means that your maintenance calories is actually lower. And obviously, if you lose weight, that means that your maintenance calories are higher. So first find your maintenance calories 2 to 4 weeks, and then deduct 2 to 500 calories to enter your calorie deficit. With that being said, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. Anything that you guys want me to cover, anything that you're struggling with, comment it down below and I'll make a video about it. God bless you guys. May God always be with you. And yeah.